Hi, I'm John Pickett. I'm the Community Advocate with IT World Canada, and I'm joined today by Richard McDonald, Distinguished IT Architect with IBM Canada, and we're here to talk about cloud computing. Richard, most of us are familiar with software as a service, but cloud computing implies something more. So how would you describe what cloud computing encompasses?
Cloud computing, to me, includes a number of different aspects of what's involved in getting access to IT resources. We want to make it as simple as possible so that there's a lot of self-service. People can access the services that they need, be it software as a service or infrastructure or platform as a service. It also means that there is a way of billing or charging for the access to that service that's kind of on a per-user basis. The last thing that we use to differentiate and look at cloud computing overall is that it includes a lot of resiliency, security, and also automation in the environment to make it as self-managing as possible.
You talk about public cloud and private cloud. Now, I get the distinction in the terms, but what does private cloud really mean? How, for example, does it differ from what a global company might be doing right now, today?
You want to know, how is a company today looking at the IT resources they currently provide versus what they might do as a private cloud environment. And a private cloud environment, again, the focus is really on making it as self-service as possible so that a part of the global enterprise that wants to do analytics or development and test and build out environments for doing testing and that kind of thing can access those services easily without getting the IT guys involved. It's stuff we've talked about for a long time. But we're now at the point where technologies, SOA, virtualization, automation are now kind of at the point where that can happen.
When a new computing model emerges, it typically doesn't just show up fully formed. It's the result probably of a variety of developments, maybe unrelated. What do you see as the sort of key developments that have made cloud computing viable today?
The key thing that we've seen that's made it really viable today is the bringing together of the technologies around SOA that allows for cloud services, software as a service, platform services, to be easily accessible and consumable by people who want to use these services. Virtualization technologies and automation technologies make it that much easier to manage. And the last thing is the change in the economic times today, where everyone's looking at how to take out costs. And so organizations want to find a way to get IT resources in there quickly and be able to respond to market pressures and also do it in a fairly cost-effective manner.
What do you see as the key benefits?
That's a good one. That is a big one, because that's what everyone wants to know. Why should I go there? Why should I do this? And organizations are going to do it for multiple different reasons. One of the reasons they'll do it is around cost control. I want to be able to deploy new infrastructure quickly and cheaply. Organizations will do it when they want to get access to services that they can't provide themselves, that somebody else provides. And they want to combine it all together into a new, more innovative piece of business that includes the private data and services they provide in combination with the services they can get from a provider. And that makes it more powerful as a new type of application that does something nobody else does.
There are a number of risk-related concerns around cloud computing that enterprises might have, for example, around regulatory and legal compliance. And simply the fact that you're dependent on a third-party provider and the risks associated with that.
Absolutely. The risks are all there and all the same regardless of whether you're going to a cloud or going to another service provider. You're going to be asking questions of them about security, about resilience, how they manage the environment, the types of I'll call it service level agreements that they're going to be able to step up to. And you want to be able to validate those things. Trust that they'll do it, but validate that they're actually able to do and provide those services.
So how do you limit your exposure?
A lot of it is around asking all the right questions of the service provider. Ask them how they are stepped up in the past to these sorts of services, and where it's appropriate, test them with it. Make sure they can do a disaster recovery along with you, for example.
Richard, what might be a typical path that an organization would take toward the cloud computing model? Are there, for example, specific characteristics that you describe of applications that might be more or less suited?
Two questions there, and they're good ones, about the types of applications that are best applied to a cloud. And that model is going to change over time. But primarily today, I would say that most organizations would be looking at applications like analytics that involve a lot of data and a lot of computational power that they can move off somewhere else without too much risk of data exposure because of the nature of that data. They'll also look at things like the easy ones, development and test environments. It'd be nice to have a self-service portal where a developer can go and ask for a server for a period of time to do some testing on it, then release it and fire it away. No IT involvement. So those are the types of easy first steps in terms of cloud adoption of actually using the technologies. When it comes to applications like transactional processing applications, that kind of thing, you might not want to be moving there right away, but over time, who knows? You really want to look at how to combine that with other services to make up these new applications. When you ask about what are some of the steps that one might take to do that, to build out your own cloud in the enterprise, you want to get your own shop somewhat in order. So you want to be able to do things like do some amount of consolidation of the servers and services you have, do some virtualization technologies, put a lot of automation around the environment to be able to then move that into providing some cloud services. You got to have some of the disciplines if you want to run your own cloud.
Thanks for joining us today. Thank you, Richard, for your comments. This has been an excerpt from CIO Canada's Frankly Speaking session on cloud computing.